welcome back to Hope Follows. We are here with another episode of Hope and Health with Dr. Blanco.
Hello, nice to be back.
We had an amazing conversation, absolutely riveting. Last month, if you missed it, please go watch it. It was on chronic pain. And what other topic would you imagine should go along with that? Let's talk about preventative care. That's what we're talking about today.
Good.
Preventative care.
Very necessary.
Very necessary.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go into that. Thank you for joining us on Hope Follows. Don't forget to go over to hopefollows.com, the website. All previous episodes you can find there because this goes way back years. I don't even know what episode I'm in. It's into the hundreds.
For sure.
And very, very grateful that God has given me the opportunity to bring stories of hope to you, because we want you, friend, to feel encouraged, to feel like you're not alone in whatever challenge you're facing. And our episodes are second and fourth Mondays of every month. The fourth Monday is our Hope and Health segment.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Please share episodes with your friends, family, coworkers, because this is important information that not only will encourage you, but it will equip you. And that's what we want.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's go into it. So preventive care at every age, investing in your future health. What is this? And why is it just as important as treatment?
Well, preventative care is truly the crux of medicine. I always tell patients, just like you maintenance your car, you have to maintain your body. You take your car in for your oil change every 3 months, you change out your liquid, switch out your tires, whatnot. Same thing for your body. There's certain things at certain ages that are required versus testing, screening exams. And it really helps us to make sure, one, we have a baseline, and two, God forbid we find something, right? So it's making sure that everything's working as it should, and really prevention of disease and cancer risks.
Excellent. We'll go into what that looks like at every decade of our lives.
Yep.
But the car analogy, that is good.
Yeah. Well, people understand that. They'll take care of their cars sometimes better than they will their body. And the funny thing is, a lot of people, I'll tell them, especially my 50-year-olds, I said, look, your 1972 Chevy isn't running like a 2025 Chevy. It's going to need a little bit more tuning. It's going to need a little bit more maintenance. And so they go, I never thought about it that way. And so they understand when we say certain things need to be done at certain ages, again, for cancer prevention screening and just overall health, testing and benefit risk.
Excellent. And with the car, I know my husband is really into classic cars lately. I see him on his phone scrolling, looking at videos and pictures of all these old classic cars. And the car that he's interested in is the one that is well taken care of. It's old. I mean, we're talking something from the 50s.
Okay.
But 60s, that is an old car, but the owner took good care of it.
Absolutely. You'll see that too. Like I tell my patients, you don't see 300-pound 85-year-olds walking around. Right?
Yeah.
There's a commonality of their weight. There's a commonality of history of drug use, alcohol use, smoking. Well-maintenance bodies will last longer than those who say you only live once and maybe live a little bit more recklessly than we would want them to.
And also living a life of good, strong health and happiness to go along with it.
Well, I mean, when you're running, a nice car runs nicely. There's not a lot of money you have to put into it. When you are healthy and you maintain, you hopefully don't get disease prognosis, diseases that you need medications for and you need to have more testings for. And so, people invest a lot of money in tobacco or vaping products, maybe later to find chest x-rays with nodules or lesions that are suspicious for cancers. And now they're seeing oncologists. And we know there's risk factors associated, obviously, with smoking and cancer and other carcinogens out there. So, it's really asking patients, where do they want to put their money? They'll say, oh, I can't afford a gym membership, but maybe a pack of cigarettes is $7 and they're smoking a pack every 2 days. So you kind of do the math, and I'll do the math for them. And they know, like, why don't you look at how you're spending your finances? And I'd rather have you do more prevention than something that's maybe worsening your health as well.
And just to be clear, this topic is different from the previous month when we talked about chronic pain, because there are real situations where people have real diagnoses and do have that pain and the diseases, and then, but we're talking about just general, let's take care of our bodies.
Yes.
And I just thought of this question. We didn't
Okay.
talk about this. So here we go on the spot.
Hit it.
Please share a story of maybe a patient who they're in their 70s, maybe 80s, or someone and they are living a thriving, healthy life because of how they took care of their body and took care of their life.
I'll use my mother as an example. My mom will turn 80 in September. And I actually laugh at this because my husband and I just saw a picture that was the catalyst to all things. About maybe 15 years ago ish, no more than 20, my mom had taken a picture with her sister, a brother-in-law, and a nephew. And my mom had on clothing that made her look obese, and my mom has never been obese. And I picked up the phone and I called my mom out. I said, hey, I see this picture of you and it doesn't look good. I don't like what I'm seeing. What are you doing? She starts laughing, right? She's like, oh, I've been eating at Arby's, I've been going here, there, and told on herself about how she was not making good choices. And I said, Mom, here's the deal. I do not like what I see. I need you to lose weight. We need, how can I support you? What can we do? Yeah. And I said, I'd like you to get this type of protein. I want you to start walking every day. And really kind of got on her, and she knew it, but no one was holding her accountable.
Oh, wow.
So on her own accord, she started walking and eating better and was tracking her protein and her grams. She lost 40 pounds on her own with just walking and eating better. She then joined a gym after, started lifting weights, and became really, really strong. And mind you, like, if you see her now, I have 60-year-old patients that she would walk over easily.
And she's 80, you said?
She'll be 80 in September.
She'll be 80, okay.
And so now she lives on about 80 plus acres and, feeds animals on the farm and does a lot of physical, I don't want to say physical labor, but physical activity.
Absolutely.
Whether it's just watering or feeding or whatever. She's moving. She's moving. She doesn't sit all day and she just goes. And so she can do circles around a lot of people based on the fact that she never smoked. She doesn't drink alcohol. She's never done drugs. She likes good food like I think the rest of us do, but knows about portion control and knows about good choices. And I'm really proud of her because she is, that's a testament to her taking ownership, her doing something about it, but more importantly, as a daughter, me knowing, my mom's not going to die of an illness that could have been that could have been prevented. So I'm pleased to use her as an example because she has her own health in her own hands, and people her age are, using walkers or debilitated, or their obesity has caused a lot of osteoarthritis problems and again, chronic pain. So it's a testament to her that taking care of herself, we're fortunate to know that she, God willing, will still be here for a long time.
How old was she when you saw that picture and noticed this?
I think she was early 60s.
Okay, yeah, so that was a while ago.
Yeah, she was early 60s. And funny story, she actually started running. And so she was walking and then started doing like 5Ks and put in a couple of half marathons in there. Yeah, we're proud of her.
Oh my goodness,
she was really good. But again, it was her own doing. Like we never said, go run some races and lose the weight. It's just something that she piqued an interest to do and did it.
But you had a conversation with her. You
Absolutely.
had to confront her.
And remember, it's tact.
How
right?
do you do that without offending the person?
Well, I think it's different for everyone because it depends on your relationship with the person,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
So there's certain people I might not have been able to say that to.
Uh-huh.
And of course, I'm not going to say, Mom, you're this, you're that, and degrade her, demean her, disrespect her.
Yeah.
But it was a place of concern like, hey, I don't like what I'm seeing. This is
Uh-huh.
not normally you. My mother's never been overweight.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
always taken pretty good care of herself. But so when I started to visually see a change,
Yeah.
I grew concerned as a daughter, right? It's like, no, I want my mom here for a long time.
Oh,
And so it
yeah.
came from a place of, okay, I don't like what I see. This isn't normally you. What are you doing? And let's get you back on track. And more again, like we've talked about in previous episodes, how can I help support you?
Mhm.
What can I do? How can I educate you? What, and I told her, go buy this protein. Let's try this. And, maybe look at yoga. She was always active in the Y. She used to love to swim when she was younger. So it was like, get back in the Y and
The YMCA.
YMCA and go swimming because she's in Nebraska. And so, she took up, like I said, walking. She walks the dog every day, or when she was in the city. And so, just different activities, that worked for her, and she did it.
Wow,
That's a
that
good
is
example.
amazing. That is a
Mhm.
great example.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing
Sure,
that.
sure,
Congrats to her.
absolutely.
Okay, let's break it down now by decade and general screenings, the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond.
Sure. For the 20s, generally we're looking at what the patient is, normally single, normally college age. So we're more concerned with STD risks, although that's always an issue for all ages, especially
Right.
unmarried. We're looking at vaccinations. They're normally due for their tetanus vaccine at age 21, and then assessing family history, right? If they have, my mom has high cholesterol, my dad is diabetic, hey, we might want to get some labs on you now because we want to make sure that we're assessing their cardiac disease. A new study showing we're using something called the Prevent calculator now within the past 5 weeks. It's just got initiated to assess patients' atherosclerotic coronary vascular disease risk. And so we're taking into account their kidney function, their cholesterol, their weight. Do they smoke? Are they on medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, to assess their risk factors? So that's more for the 20s, and also looking at their activity level, their body mass index, et cetera. In the 30s, very still similar of what we're speaking. Again, specific labs for family history risk factors. We're looking at mammograms starting at age 40 for all women. We're looking at colonoscopy starting at age 45 for all men and women. Prostate cancer screening has always been a controversial issue. We generally start at age 50 every 2 years, but then you have to look at other factors, right? So if your father had prostate cancer, I'm going to check you at a much younger age. If your mother had colon cancer, I'm going to check you at a much younger age. If your sister has breast cancer, your mother has breast cancer, again, we're going to check you at different ages. So every patient will also be different based on their family risk factors. So that also is a part of just the assessment of a patient from a cancer screen. So that's what we're looking at. More importantly, is Pap smears. We start at age 21 for all women, and that can be every 3 to 5 years, depending on their sexual activity. Are they monogamous? Are they not? Are they always using protection? Yes or no? Always talking about skin cancer screening. Always talking about tobacco use, vape use for just disease process in general from those products.
You said Arizona. You've
Mm-hmm.
told me in Arizona.
Yeah, so skin cancer is huge in Arizona. We are number one in the country for
Wow.
skin cancer. We're number two in the world to skin cancer, second to Australia, right? And so skin cancer is huge. When we do physicals, we will look for lesions on the skin. I have found many concerning skin lesions, including melanoma, on my patients when we were just doing normal physical exams. But patients are advocates as well to look for things that weren't normally there. But as your physical exam, we want those baseline labs. We want to make sure that we have this is what you normally look like. And so if something happens, you get sick, you can come to the doctor, we can compare, hey, your kidney function wasn't doing this before, this is new, or your liver function has it's tripled since you were here last. What supplements are you taking? What are you eating? Are you drinking a lot right now? I had a patient whose liver enzymes doubled, and she said, well, what can I do? And I said, well, how much do you drink? And she says, well, I only drink on the weekends. And I said, well, but if you think about it, Monday through Thursday is 4 days, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday is 3. So that's still 40% of the time you're drinking. And people don't realize that. She says, well, I only have
Interesting.
shots, you know. And I said, okay, how many shots? She says, well, maybe 6. I said, maybe you have 6 a day or 6. She said, well, 6 a day. So anywhere from 12 to 18. It's a lot of alcohol. It's a
Yeah.
lot of that's a lot of toxin to the liver. And so she really, again, we had to educate about,
Okay. Yeah.
let's remove, just go half for right now, or can you remove it? She says, nope, I don't need it. Now that I know this, and if I can make my liver healthy and remove it, I'm going to. I said, just do 1 month of 0 alcohol. Let's recheck your liver enzymes, and let's see, because the liver is a wonderful organ because it can repair itself.
Really?
But we don't want to take advantage of that, because at some point it stops repairing itself and turns to something called cirrhosis. And I've had patients die from that.
Yeah.
So again, it's educating patients about what can we do better from a preventative standpoint. And again, like we talked about with portions and monitoring, and everything has a limit.
I like that, the whole list of things to do, and I'm sure there's more. And that's why, how do you know? Okay, well, maybe you could go on Google. What do you call Google?
Oh, Dr. Google. Yeah.
Right, Dr. Google. When you said that to me, you said
Yeah.
that, and I said, what?
What,
Dr.
what,
Google?
what are
Is
you
that a
talking
real
about? What are you
website?
talking about? No, that's something doctors will say. You know, we say, okay, Dr. Google, because everyone thinks if I get on Google, I'm as smart as a doctor, or I know what the doc. They feel like, I'm not going to go on Google and think I'm a mechanic. I'm not going to go on Google and think I'm a dentist, right? I
Right.
may say, okay, let me see what the American Dental Association says about this, or whatever. And so, we would encourage patients that want to maybe educate themselves better about medicine in general, look at reputable websites like the American Diabetic Association, American Heart Association. These are really good sites that I think direct patients better as to risk factors and what are the more up-to-date guidelines that we're following. There's something called the United States Preventive Task Force that we like because it helps guide us. Sometimes it's just educating patients what is due at what time and for whom, or based on your family history, I might do this sooner. If you have something called familial hyperlipidemia, that means my mom's cholesterol, her LDL is over 200. Well, it should be under 100. And so if hers is 200, then what is, let's check yours, and let's check your kids. And, oh, well, I only have a 6-year-old. That's okay. We need to check now, because primary prevention is the biggest factor for us as primary care doctors to make sure that we're ahead of the game and not falling behind and trying to catch up and treat disease that's already established. We want to prevent disease so you can live a longer, healthier life.
What should well, I'm your patient, but what would you suggest that our friend watching ask at an annual physical exam? And thinking the whole body.
Yeah, what I like for my patients is to say, okay, Dr. Blanco, I'm 43. What vaccines do you recommend I get? What cancer prevention tests do you do? Should I get? Can you? And they'll say, like, what do you suggest I get based on my age or based on my family history? And we tell them. So it's very routine. It's black and white. There's just certain things that we need to order and we need to do as we get older, for sure.
And any other questions that you would like them to ask?
No, I think just,
or bring attention to.
You know what we would like, you bring that up, is when you come to your exam, to your physical, a few things. One, always show up fasting for your physical, because 9 out of 10 times we're going to order your physical labs, and we can do them right there. Like in our office, at least, we have a lab on site, so we can do your blood work right after your physical. We can do everything that we've talked about.
Unless your office doesn't have labs, so check it.
But many times we'll send them straight to the lab anyway, right? Number one. Number two, I am a huge advocate for patients to bring all of their medications and all of their supplements to their exam, because many times, patients are put on medications. They think the cardiologist sent me a note saying what they were switched on, or they increased this dose, or they stopped this medicine. Many times we don't know that. And so it's making sure, and I go through my patients, are you still on A, B, C, and D? They're like, oh, no, I stopped C. Okay, let's remove that. Oh, and do you have that I'm on F? No, I don't have that. And so it's reconciling their medications. That's really important, because I might give you a medication that's contradictory to a medicine you're taking, and so we want to make sure there's no interaction. And so it's important that patients don't recognize a lot of times that the supplements they take had drug interactions with their other medications, especially psychiatric medications, cardiovascular medications. And so it's important that we know what you're taking. Please don't be embarrassed or humiliated. We have to know, because if what we don't know can hurt you if we're treating something else. So we need to be aware.
I like
Mhm.
what you shared just now. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be afraid. This is the safe place.
Yeah,
This is where you
yeah.
come to talk about anything. Now, sick visits are different than well
Preventative. Yeah.
visits,
So
right?
people have
These
to
are totally different.
remember that when you come for your physical, a physical appointment is just that. It's a physical, it's a preventative appointment, which is completely different than a sick visit. So I'll have many times patients say, I'm here for my physical, and by the way, my shoulder hurts. Oh, and can you look at my ankle because I fell 2 days ago and I just want to make sure. It's like, listen, I can look at it, but that's also called that it's not a preventative visit. It's a focal sick visit, or a problem-based visit, problem-focused visit is what we call it. We cannot bill the insurance for both. And so, many patients say, oh, well, here's my list. I'm like, okay, we can either go over your list or we can do your physical. We cannot do both. We can't do that because we sign contracts with insurances that say, we're not going to double bill or triple bill because we won't get paid for that. We can't do that. You don't go to the dentist and say, I'm here for my cleaning, and by the way, will you do a root canal while I'm here, right?
Okay,
But
that's
that's
a good
essentially
analogy.
the same thing they're
Yeah.
doing. Or, hey,
Okay.
I'm here for my oil change, but by the way, can you change my spark plugs and take out my engine and do a new transmission? No, right? So those are two separate visits, problem visit versus a preventative visit. So please be respectful of your doctor, your time, their time.
So now, okay, let's give them something to leave this episode with. 3 daily habits that you would suggest this is all else, whatever you take away from this episode,
Right.
anything, 3 daily best habits.
The 3 daily best habits would be adequate sleep, adequate exercise, and food choice. Sleeping at least 7 hours, no more than 9, is the recommended sleep.
No more than 9, okay.
Exercising, as we've spoken before, 30 minutes a day, whether it's just walking, swimming, biking, doesn't matter, but moving for at least 30 minutes a day. And then food choices, right? Making good food choices. Patients know what they should and shouldn't eat for the most part. And asking yourself, do I eat out a lot? Do I eat a lot of fast food? You're responsible.
As we wrap up, we definitely want to take that on for ourselves too. I mean, yes, taking care of our children, taking care of our loved ones, taking care of the car, making sure that car is running smooth, that old classic car that my husband would scroll through his phone. I catch him late at night looking at these old cars, and every one of them are shiny. They're gorgeous inside and out.
Right.
Because somebody took good care of them.
Right.
And we have to do that for our bodies. This is what God has given us. It's the vessel, the outside of it, the inside. We want it to run smooth.
And we want to honor it.
Yes, we want to honor it and respect it.
Absolutely.
That's great. And the Bible verse, you said.
Which one?
About the temple.
Oh, well, yeah, your body is a temple, right?
Right.
We're made in his image.
Yes,
we're made in his image. Right, right.
So we have a responsibility to take care of it.
Yeah.
And especially for those of us, our loved ones, we want to be healthy for all of them.
Well, it's just maintenance, just like car maintenance, your body's maintenance. So you want to make sure you're doing everything that you can in your will to, make sure you're here for your spouse and for your kids for a long time.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you guys have amazing knowledge and action items. I mean, if we just kept it simple, preventive care, go to see your doctor, annual visit, problem visit, or preventative. Those are different. That's my takeaway. I mean, I did know that, but sometimes you just start talking. But then also those 3 important proper sleep, and exercise and food choices. Those 3 are critical and make a big difference. I think you had mentioned about someone who, you shared already about your mom, but I thought there was also maybe a patient who had some type of, they changed their lifestyle. You said, let's just try this. Let's try with
was it my diabetic patient?
Yes.
Yeah, we had a diabetic patient for years who was pre-diabetic, and I just said, it's not a matter. It's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's when you're going to become diabetic, and he had struggled to do it on his own. And so at some point, we said it's not no longer pre-diabetic. You were fully diabetic, and we need to now come in and treat you correctly. And I said, listen, you could still lose the weight, you could still get healthy, and the goal is to get you off of medications. My patients know that. To me, I always say less is more. We don't want to put you on medications, but when your lifestyle modification changes don't affect positively the changes that we're looking for, then your doctor needs to intercept, right? And so for him, he even admitted, I said, how's this been working for you so far? He's like, well, what I'm doing obviously isn't working.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, it's okay to admit that what you're doing isn't working. Now let the experts come in, let the experts take over to say, okay, this I think would be your best medicine. And I always, now we're almost referring every other patient to a nutritionist called Nourish. I really like this
Oh, I
facility.
know that.
Yep,
Nourish.
we're using Nourish just because they don't just do diabetes. It's thyroid disorder, it's autoimmune disease.
Though,
it's
also.
Well, just for weight loss, just for weight stability,
weight loss.
weight gain. Maybe you have an eating disorder. Maybe you have a thyroid issues, irritable bowel. You have Crohn's, ulcerative colitis. There's a lot of medical issues. Inflammation. I don't know that that's a factor per se. It's more of a specific diagnosis.
Okay.
So they have nutritionists that specifically are educated in those diagnoses.
Great. Okay. Nourish. That's a great tip.
Good plug.
Also. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a great episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and pray, and then we're going to do our big idea.
Okay.
Thank you, God, for all the wisdom that has been shared on this episode. I pray for our friend watching that they will feel equipped and not stressed or overwhelmed or afraid, but equipped and encouraged and just really excited and ready to go take care of themselves. And I pray that you will give them that peace and give them the confidence. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. All right, here we go. Let's see what our big idea is: to have a positive influence in our community.
I like this. Collect canned goods for a food drive or homeless shelter. I think that's fantastic. You know what? Go through your pantries. I do this probably every 6 months because a lot of the food is expired. Got to throw it away. And then if you look at food that's maybe, hey, this is going to expire in 3 or 4 months and I'm probably not going to eat it. Take that and, because it's a pretty quick turnaround, and especially in the summer. I don't think we give as much in the summer as we do in the holidays.
So definitely, let's see what we can give in our own homes, or when you're at the store, maybe get a couple extra cans that you can donate, because this is definitely helping the homeless or helping the food pantries. I mean, giving to them and equipping them and keeping them supplied.
They struggle in the summers.
Yeah, they need the help.
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for today.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, friend, for joining us on Hope Follows. Don't forget to go over to hopefollows.com for more resources, previous episodes. We have an episode on work-life balance. That was a really important one that I feel goes hand in hand with this preventative care. Thank you again. And remember that whatever you're facing, any struggle, anything that's discouraging to you, there is hope. Hope will follow. Thank you.